countdown for blast off. X minus 5, 4, 3, 2, X minus 1, fire. From the far horizons of the unknown come tales of new dimensions in time and space. These are stories of the future, adventures in which you'll live in a million, could be years, on 1,000 maybe worlds. The National Broadcasting Company, in cooperation with Galaxy Science Fiction Magazine.
Warning. The following are thoughts and opinions that belong to 4chan and Reddit. They do not reflect the thoughts and opinions of the Atomic Shaman Sweat Lodge. This is for entertainment purposes only.
Can anyone help me understand what happened to me? This was about 4 years ago. I was in college staying in an apartment on campus. I was talking to a guy, who ended up being tremendously abusive during our relationship, just in case that's relevant. And because we were in that will we, won't we phase, we ended up talking until the early hours of the morning in my apartment. Once we decided it was late and he should go home, I walked him outside to his car. While we were in the parking lot, we made some light goodbye chatter that was interrupted by the sound of barking dogs. Like a lot of dogs. It sounded like thousands maybe. We both jumped and looked all around us to source the horrifying roar that was ripping through the air to the point where we couldn't even hear each other. Let me be clear, whatever this was, it was a horde. Barking over each other, getting louder and more aggressive, turning almost into howls, like a war cry. It kept getting closer until it felt like whatever this was would surely be on us in a second, and then it stopped all at once. And expectancy of a resolution hung in the air until we both heard each other's breath again, and asked if the other was okay and if we heard the same things. The whole situation was only about 12 to 15 seconds, but it felt like the barking and howling was so long to all stop at the same time at its loudest, closest point. I cannot find anything like this experience from people I know or the internet, and it's plagued me since it happened. I asked other people in my complex if they heard anything at all, and most of them were asleep, but a few people that were awake said they only heard some cars passing and maybe some distant chatter at times. Anyone else? This may be an odd question, but has anyone had 3 kids, maybe 6 to 7 years of age, blonde hair, mostly black eyes from what me and my sister could see? 1:30 am. I had 3 kids standing in a line knocking on my living room window, not saying a word, just all 3 knocking, and it stopped after my sister ran to hide in the bathroom. We do live near a graveyard on Maple St, but has anyone ever in their life had this happen to them? I know I wasn't asleep, as both of us were awake and had seen and heard it. The thing that made us look was a baby crying outside, and the sound got louder until we looked at the window. The knocking continued for 15 minutes after we hid in the bathroom. Then at 4 a.m. my sister heard my daughter crying. She's 3. If she was crying, she'd go to my room instantly or freak out, so I think something mimicked her. Haircut of the 3 identical boys dressed in black pictured below. I know the story about the black-eyed children, and I just don't understand why my house. Demon sighting? I communicate with spirits often and never had a bad experience with one until recently, when I started having sleep paralysis. Weirdly, all my sleep paralysis nightmares would be about my dog turning into a demon. Half an hour ago I was trying to sleep, and all of a sudden I see this big ball of light about the size of my head in my mirror right next to my dog. What scared the shit out of me was that it was 7 feet high up, and the moment I looked at it, it started moving to the right. There is no way that light could have impacted that, since it's currently about to be 4 a.m. Does anyone have any ideas what the fuck I just saw? I'm genuinely scared. A day or two ago I posted about how I think my house is haunted. I looked into it and I found some interesting history about my town but nothing about my house. Just 20 minutes ago I heard what sounded like footsteps from my mom's room again, an iPhone notification alarm that wasn't mine, and something fall down even though I don't think anything did. I also threw away some trash and our trash has a door thing to it and I could have sworn I shut the door fully but when I looked back it was slightly open. I later noticed that the basement door was open too but it sometimes is and there's no telling when it will be. I was sitting on my room just now and I could have sworn I saw a shadow go into my mom's room. My mom is alive. My dog also barked once and I have no idea what he barked for. I'm really scared right now and I have no idea what to do. I need advice ASAP. Edit 1. I am currently home alone. I found out my mom's phone was silenced the entire time. Her old phone is still working. Edit 2. I don't know if this is anything but every time I play Christian music on my speaker it cuts out a few times per song. I used to listen to things like Taylor Swift and Olivia Rodrigo and I didn't cut out as much. Edit 3, so I just remembered that my dog likes to bark at things when nothing is there. He usually barks towards the town garage. The town garage has a cardboard thing that you put the cardboard in and at some point a truck takes it away. But anyway my dog barks as that when there's people and when there isn't. Another thing I came to realize after that is there was an apartment that after 2 or 3 years of us living in the house got torn down, there was an apartment that got torn down. I don't really know what happened in that apartment but I do know that by the time we moved in there were no people living in it. So maybe it's the source? But yeah. Night shift at the hospital. I have been doing night shifts to earn extra cash as a nighttime cleaner. Saturday night I looked up and I seen a man at the information desk standing by the security guard. When I looked back around the same man was at the nurse's station behind me when nobody was there. Lights were out for bedtime and nurses were doing rounds. I brushed it off as I'm starting to get silly. Often I see shadows or things at the corner of my eye and as I go down to the basement there is an eerie feeling down by the morgue like somebody is watching me in the corner of the hall. LOL, not just the cameras. The other night cleaner is rather odd fella. He leaves very detailed reports on eerie feelings and odd things he's seen. Sunday night I heard call bells going off to let somebody into the building. When security and myself looked outside nobody was there but the call bells kept ringing on and off all night shift. Something is following me. Okay, I know the title sounds like the start of a rubbish horror novel, but everything I'm writing about is true. I noticed a few months ago, something following me. It shows itself in different ways, from a light hovering over me, to darkened figures peeking out from behind trees, etc. I've had experiences in the past, and they have always been a little odd, but these have been happening so often. As an addition, I feel like it is something separate entirely, but I do believe I had an attachment a few years ago, strange claw marks in the snow, following where I had walked minutes before, and clear as day footsteps running towards me on night shifts. I have no idea what these things are. The most recent one doesn't feel bad in any way, even if the figure behind the tree was creepy, but the one a few years ago felt pure evil. I should probably add that I'm not religious, but do believe in a lot of the paranormal, not just limited to spirits and demons. Another version of my husband presented himself in front of me. I, female 23, was 8 months pregnant at the time. I decided to go and have a 2-hour nap with my husband and set a 2-hour alarm. After setting the alarm I went to sleep. I then woke up to the sound of the alarm as 2 hours passed by. As I tried to take the alarm off after grabbing my phone I looked up and saw a version of my husband standing in front of me who had long braided hair. My husband doesn't have braids, he was sweating, seemed like he was freezing and his body was cold. He had no shirt on and I could see the sweat dripping of his chest. He stared at me with a very cold, evil look, and was very close to my face. I blinked multiple times because I was in disbelief and thought I was dreaming. I pinched myself, I tried to put my hand through objects because I thought I had died or was astral projecting or something. Eventually, I looked behind me where my husband was sleeping and saw that my husband was sleeping peacefully, so I came to realization that the other version of my husband wasn't really him. I tried to wake up my husband. He's an extremely light sleeper. I shook him several times, screamed his name. I tried all sorts of extreme measures to wake him up and he wouldn't wake up. Eventually, when I looked back and the other version of him disappeared, he woke up. I told him I tried to wake him up. He was in disbelief, and what concerned me the most is that my husband wakes up with the lightest of touch or sounds. I really wonder what this was. I still can't understand what this was. It was honestly the scariest moment of my life. I didn't really believe in ghosts or the paranormal that much before this happened. Son is being haunted by his fake dad. Posted a few days ago on a different sub looking for ways to protect my son. Yesterday, we bought some carbon monoxide detectors, all good there, and saged. This has been happening over the course of the last couple weeks, but last night, things took a turn. Original post below with last night's event at the bottom. My son, CJ, 4, appears to have an entity bothering him. He calls him his fake dad. He's mentioned him for a while now, but anytime we ask questions about fake dad, he usually changes the subject. At first, we laughed about it, thinking it was a strange name for an imaginary friend. But I'm starting to think that's not the case. Recently, it's been escalating. Last week, CJ told us he used to have a fake mom, but she drowned in the ocean. Creepy, but we were driving back from the beach at the time. We asked if fake dad was with us and he said no and that he didn't really want to talk about fake dad. Tonight, my husband and I were eating dinner after CJ had gotten up to play and we heard him say to himself, "Ouch. That was a bad idea. I should have never listened to him." We asked him what he meant and he told us fake dad told him to walk across his new train track, his new birthday present that he loves. CJ told us that fake dad always tells him to do bad things like break his toys. He hasn't done this yet, but tonight was the first time he really opened up about fake dad. He also told us that fake dad gets mad when he hugs his dad. He was pretty upset and told us he doesn't like fake dad and wishes he would leave him alone. As I was typing this, CJ started crying from his bedroom. I went to check on him, thinking he was messing around and hurt himself. But the lights were still off and he had fallen off the bed, which he has never done before. He was confused about how it could have happened. This is escalating quickly. What kind of entity is this and how can I help my son? Thanks for your help. Update. Last night, we heard a loud bang coming from CJ's bedroom. I went to check on him, but the lights were off and I could see CJ in bed and it looked like he was asleep. I was standing in the doorway trying to figure out what caused the noise when my husband walked up behind me. Suddenly, CJ sat up in bed and said, "He told me you would come." I asked CJ who told him that and he pointed to the corner of the bedroom and said, "Fake dad." I looked toward where he pointed and saw a silhouette of a very large man standing in the corner. My husband saw the same thing and quickly turned on the light, but nothing was there. We packed some bags and left. There was no way anyone was going to sleep in that house and honestly, I'm not sure I ever want to go back. We're at my aunt's house now and we're going to talk to her priest this afternoon. I feel like I'm living in a horror movie. What the hell is this thing and how can I get it to leave my child alone? My sister-in-law sees black silhouettes behind me. How can I get a vampire girlfriend? Get a girlfriend. Vampire girlfriend is redundant. Brew oh hell nah, she gon' suck the blood out of yo dick k. You can't, fuck off. Generally we don't procreate with humans, that would be akin to having sex with animals. but just like humans there are some individuals with lower intelligence who will fuck anything. Good luck finding a female that is not part of a family of inbred morons. You fuck off with your cringe LARP as well. Okay, but who asked for consent? You will take my magical dick so far up your ass it will poke out just between your canines. It's legally not rape anymore, just necrophilia at worst. Cringe and small pee pilled. Good. Just on the level of retarded vampire wannabe. You don't want one, trust me. Right, because all females are vampires, am I right? It's okay, with all the pretty twilight sparkle eternal youth effect you can turn males into passable twinks, and since they don't eat solids, they don't shit, so you can as well turn their asses into eternal cock sleeves. Yes, this thread is retarded, OP is unimaginative little bitch, and I go with the flow. Yes, unironically. Burdened with reproductive pressures, female instinct is to devolve a man who's ascending spiritually into animalistic state and siphon that energy to create baby and extract resources, only to be done with him once the baby is around 7 years old / Nobody. Do I look like I care about consent? It won't hurt, I promise. I want one. She cued. They don't want you, trust me. You're not one to talk. I will talk to the shy vampire girl. What's the worst that could happen? Okay, undead F slur, let us both step out into the sunlight and then we'll see who is superior. Sure bud, where do we meet? You see, we can actually go out during the daytime. We just prefer not to. Don't make assumptions. Those can be deadly. Yes. Can't drink holy water. Can't eat garlic bread. Can't touch silver. Can't touch salt. Scared of a symbol. Evaporates under natural sunlight. Can be killed with a pointy stick. We can't procreate with humans because we're superior. Question mark. Repeating exe. Geek. I never said we can't, we just prefer not to. And it's frowned upon. All of those are assumptions you humans made in the past. All of which are based on religion, literature, and movies written by, well, humans. None of them really apply to us vampires in general. You see, I actually like garlic, especially in bread, and I can go out in sunlight, although I easily get sunburn and migraines, so I prefer not to, and if I do I would prefer to wear sunglasses. I can wear silver and actually do, and I can drink holy water, but I prefer not to because you never know who has washed their filth in it, and ask who would drink that shit. I mean, washing oneself in it is doable, but drinking is just gross. If you would make coffee with it I would think about it, preferably with real sugar and milk, i.e. from a cow, none of that surrogate shit. Salt is good for conducting energy, I put salt on my tartar anyway. And if I remember correctly, a pointy stick would kill a human too. And that's what you have been doing to each other since the Paleolithic era. It's called a spear. We also used them against your kind. There is a complete forest grown out of those spears we used. It turns out human corpses are pretty good fertilizer. At least when humans die they stay in the ground long enough to decompose. I'm really curious what a vampire LARPer on 4chan actually looks like. Like, do you do this often, or is this just because you saw this thread? Meet the new Vamp GPT, trained on Twilight and Vampire Diaries. Bro, it's just a fat ugly bitch desperate to feel special, don't give them attention. Holy shit. I think she's a real werewolf. Where is this vampire landmark? I am a man. Shut up and pucker up. You roleplay a vampire, so you can as well roleplay a needy slut. Garlic. Silver. Salt. We carry these items for protection, they're not exactly lethal but they can do a lot of damage. Vamps, and other types of undead, will instantly go into hiding if they smell garlic because that's a sign of hunters being nearby. Why would they hide? You might ask, well that's because they're weak as fuck. They can't even take an average adult human on 1v1 combat, let alone a fully trained hunter. They hunt with packs and usually prey on children, elderly, crippled and those who are asleep. Also by symbol I assume you mean a crucifix. Well, it's not technically harmful towards vampires, they just get scared and flee if they see one because it's a hunter sigil. In fact, the crescent and star symbol that's associated with Islam literally has the same effect. It became one of the hunter sigils after the Ottoman Turks murdered Vlad Dracula in 1476. I think that's a little silly. Even Homo neanderthals and Homo sapiens interbred because they were similar in phenotype. You're just being a speciest, which is not surprising given most wannabe vamps are egotistical assholes. You talk like a cringy teenage girl and as such you will be treated like one. Thanks for not disputing the fat ugly part though LMFAO. You two should fuck. Yeah, vampires are actually an oppressed minority, so weak that they can only survive in hiding, because these gay Nazi predators called hunters are constantly trying to rape them with their garlic-eating breath and wooden stakes. Why are there so many of these? How can I get a vampire? Succubus incel posts. Fuck off F-slur, you will never be me. Shut up racist scumbag. High density of based posts in this thread. Imagine your dick rubbing against those fangs as she gives you a sloppy blowjob after 1,000 years of practice. There's no such thing as racism. Frequent divorce and custody battle proceedings in any American large city. I guarantee you will meet one finishing a meal and gearing up for a fresh hunt. I say large city, because in small towns, women are likely to have people who know them or their husbands, and also know the divorce was either mostly or entirely their fault. Hence they are forced to divorce rape their husbands with a little lube and some pillow talk. Gatekeeping your fellow brothers on this image board? The ghost of Nixon shakes his head in shame at you. Okay, imagine a woman sucking your seed every day, what would happen? I'm inclined to believe you. But if vampires exist, so does magecraft. In which case I will simply become a magic man. Would that make a vampire more inclined to look past the human barrier? You are literally the meme of a man drowning while others die of thirst. That being said, honestly, from what I've read, vampires sound like they're either A, really fucking mean, or B, ugly. Listen up, brother. You think these deacons out here, striking out with the human ladies, are gonna waltz into the ring and get it on with a vampire or a succubus? Oh no, brother, that ain't how the Macho Man sees it, and that ain't how it's gonna go down. Here's the deal, dig it? These cats think, oh, if I can't get my willy silly with a human woman, maybe some supernatural babe will step up to the plate. But hold the phone, brother, cause it's time to get real spicy. They haven't cracked open that heavy hitter, The Will to Power, by my man Nietzsche, and they don't even know the score. Power, brother, power, that's the name of the game. It's the language that runs the show, whether you're flexin' with human women or tryin' to roll with the supernatural sisters of the night. Let me break it down for ya. If you ain't got that fire, that strength, that will to power pumping through your veins, you're just a zero in the ring, brother. Human ladies, they pass you by. Vampires, they ain't bit in. Succubi, they're Logan all the way back to the shadows. These supernatural femme fatale don't want a loser any more than the girl next door does. They're drawn to the champs, the ones who radiate that raw, untamed power. So listen here, you deacons. The Macho Man's dropping truth bombs all over this squared circle. The cream will rise to the top, oh yeah, and the weak? They're gonna crash and burn where they stand. You wanna play the game, you better bring the power, or you're out of luck with every woman, human or supernatural. Oh yeah. Based Macho Man laying down the law. I think they would eat you, and then drain your bank account. Probably sacrifice you to some hellish demonic force for magical power, or maybe they'd enslave you. Or have you do gay porn for easy cash? Honestly, you're assuming that vampires think like humans and want human things. They do not. Is the Macho Man right, Vampire Sama? Do vampires not fuck with broke boys and scrubs? Individuals with lower intelligence that will fuck anything, so vampires. Explain to me, why a vampire would want to fuck anyone on this image board. Get a job, hippie. The path is simple. Be worth something important and chase girls you think are better than you. Become a slave to their whims and forget yours. Let even living become a chore, nothing but her will ever appease you. And when she got what was important and leaves you, you can choose to get another, or instead you might choose a lover. Some need to fall to find their pride. This is sacred. It's also death. Vampires cannot procreate in the conventional sense. Why would you want to have corpse as a girlfriend? You are not a vampire. The Macho Man has spoken. Get your money up and lift 2 plates or you'll never see a vampire coochie. Power falls to reason because without it power is treason. Reason falls to love because without it we're all cretins. Love falls to time because death comes for all. Power holds the line until it's time to fall. Fall shall always come, as sure as we orbit the sun. So cling not to these things that are unsteady. Otherwise your demise is already. Be not the hammer but the river, for only then can fate be delivered. Dude, there are immortals that aren't undead. And the dead still love, so like get a better metaphor. If you can't find a vampire girlfriend, become the vampire girlfriend. Become my vampire girlfriend. Need to organize 10 to 20 real vampires to form an elite squad of vampires. You all must choose a leader and form rank within your squad. This is important for an upcoming task. Doesn't have to be an all-female squad, but when you have gathered the numbers required, come find me. Ah, here, brother. The Macho Man Randy Savage is dropping from the top rope of destiny with a double axe handle of truth, gold around my waist, fire in my soul, and the madness pumping harder than a jackhammer on nitro. Dig it? Now listen here, slap nuts. You're talking about attraction, about why these jabronis out here think some dark queen from the shadows is gonna lock lips with them just cause they watched a vampire movie twice and bought a skull ring off ETSE. Oh no. That ain't how the Macho Man sees it, and that ain't how the universe rolls. You want love from a lady of the night? I ain't talking Trader Joe's kale cart Susie or the truck stop temptress with the Marlboro twinkle, no, brother. I'm talking the real deal, vampiric vixens with eyes that pierce your soul and fangs that whisper your fate. Succubi that glide like smoke and hit harder than a steel chair wrapped in seduction. These dames. They don't mess with mabes, they crave the champions. And what do they crave? Huh. They want power, they want presence, they want a man who's got his boots laced, his aura blazing, and a finisher that leaves the cosmos shaken. If you come waltzing in with nothing but a meme addiction and a stale bag of Doritos, you're getting flattened faster than a pancake in a power bomb. You gotta walk into the squared circle of life with the confidence of a titan and the swagger of a rocket-powered stallion. And don't think I didn't hear your poem, ah no. You talk about reason fallen, love fallen, time coming to collect? Macho Man respects the poetry of pain, brother, cause time is the final boss. And I ain't here to deny it, no sir. But let me tell you something right now, while time might pin us all in the end, I'm still kicking out at 2.9 with the madness flowing strong. You say don't be the hammer, be the river? Well, guess what, Jack? The Macho Man is the river and the hammer. I flow through destiny and then drop the elbow when the moment strikes. Adaptable, unpredictable, unstoppable. So polish your boots, stack your cash, or crank up that charisma till it's louder than my entrance theme played on a jet engine at WrestleMania. Because these supernatural sirens ain't handing out kisses for pity, they want the cream of the crop, and the cream always rises to the top. Snap into it, Deegan Nation. Life's a ladder match and you better climb it with fire in your eyes and purpose in your grip or get powerbombed into obscurity while the Macho Man rides off into the moonlight with a vampire on each arm and the crowd chanting ah here. Macho madness never dies, brother, it just keeps rising. Yeah, feel it? Does anyone try to suicide by vampire? It seems like a bizarre idea, but of all the ways to go out, it doesn't seem like the worst. That's some big brain 4D chess right there. I'm talking galaxy brain macho madness on a rocket-fueled ride through the square ring of power. Too sweet to be sour, too slick to slip, oh yeah. But let me tell ya something, brother. The Macho Man? He sees that energy and he respects it. That's that Gandhi grind, be the change you wanna see in the world flex. That's wisdom in tassels, baby. And I don't wanna hear none of you jabronis in the back running your mouth saying that's gay. Oh no. Where's your plan, huh? Does it involve a family-size bag of Doritos and making sweet love to your own hand on a lonely Tuesday night? My man's got a vision. He's shooting for the stars, and the Macho Man? He stands a trans queen, yeah. You do you, brother or sister. The madness sees you, and the madness rides with you. You would offer yourself to a vampire? Get ready to be part of an underground gay snuff film. Normally I'd reply in a Macho Man way for fun. But he's right. They're gonna stick stuff up your butt and record it and put it on the internet. I will be beating off to it. But there's better ways to die, brother. Oh. No, you misunderstand. I don't want to, but it was a random intrusive thought. I gave it some serious thought as well. You could either invite the friendly vampires on /x/ for a free lunch or walk aimlessly through the night waiting to be taken as prey. The first option doesn't work, I tried it, and the second option opens you to real predators, cars, junkies, common criminals. Hey F-slur, wanna learn a ritual that might help? But like, if you're not interested in doing that and just wanna die, then join the military. If you're too old, then join the Peace Corps. But the ritual isn't to attract vampires. Then you better listen to the Macho Man and take his advice. Start hitting those arcane magic tomes and those weights. No, 5 real familamergen? AM space REME real? Nah, it was a mere thought experiment for me. I did invite the vampires here for a feast once, but that was in jest. What is this ego death method you mention? Well, how familiar are you with chaos magic, and how's your meditation game and your willingness to do intense rituals? And how good are you at inducing a manic state? Caca homo sapien. I'm not familiar with chaos magic, and I don't think I can get into an actual meditative state for an intense ritual. I'm curious about it though. I hope I didn't alarm you with my post. I'm sorry about my rather poor choice of words. If it was the Germans who killed him, why would they send his head to the Ottoman Sultan as a gift? Also, why the fuck would Germans murder a Christian lord? Thursday night is spaghetti night. You can find them there. Oh yeah. Gather round all you jabronis and cosmic contenders, cause the madness is about to drop the greatest truth bomb of all time. You're out here askin, wonderin', debatin' if magic is real? Ha! You're wastin' your breath and missin' the biggest match of your life. Let the Macho Man Randy Savage tell ya straight, brother, magic ain't about what's real or what's not. No sir, that's small time thinking. Magic, real magic, is all about style. It's about power. It's about talking the universe in a headlock and dropping an elbow of imagination from the top rope of reality. Belief ain't your master, belief's your tag team partner. You ride shotgun with whatever idea gets you pumped. 1 minute you're flexin' with Odin in Valhalla, next you're high-fivin' Elvis on the astral plane. Whatever it takes, brother. Because true magicians know belief is just a steel chair waiting ringside for you to grab and smash through limitations. You wanna become the champ? Take it from Baba Yaga, the witch with the heavyweight title in style and mystique. Craft yourself a little playbook, a magician's grimoire filled with sigils and rituals like they're your own signature finishing moves. Flex at the mirror, hype your energy till it sparkles brighter than neon tassels on WrestleMania night. Yeah, life's gonna throw ya off the ropes, clothesline ya with disappointments, put ya in a headlock of doubt, but champions kick out at 2.9, brother. They get up, dust off, and strut right back into the ring. Hit those meditations like they're reps at the gym. Carve up sigils like you're scoring digits from the hottest goth babe in town. Write your dreams, your visions, your cosmic promos until the universe can't ignore ya any longer. And when reality pins ya down, ya don't whine about what's real, you tap into that electrifying current, that unstoppable madness, and suplex your destiny through the table of possibility. So forget a skin if magic's real, Jack, that ain't the question. The real question is, are you ready to step into the ring with the Macho madness, grab hold of the lightning, and body slam your way into legendary status? Because if you're ready, welcome to the show of a lifetime. Dig it? And remember, the cream always rises to the top. And ya gotta be the cream of the crop. Ah yeah. Keep 'em coming, candy ass. I'll tell the Ordo Sanguinarius Ex Mortis to make you wait another damn 10 years before turning you now. You done fucked up. No, please don't. LMAO, that implies they'd touch anyone on this board, myself included. Call me crazy, but dudes who eat family-size bags of Doritos and make sweet love to their palms on Tuesday nights don't exactly sound like the kind of guys the ladies or the night the main events themselves, the femme fatale, would be chomping at the bits to obtain. Don't waste your breath, brother. Maybe it isn't saying much, but they'd come here before fucking read it. Who thinks we've the last pope? And actually 113th in St. Malachi's, because a between one is apparently readable before the Peter the Roman. Nope, anon, there is going to be a lot more popes in the future. Doom posting has been around for decades if not centuries. Relax and enjoy life while it lasts. Is he a Jesuit and Freemason also? He is even worse. An American. The new pope exists, and he is American. From the LA diocese, famous for covering up child sex abuse by priests. We're in for a wild ride. I hope he stopped canonizing everybody like that snake Francis. Counterparts. The first North American pope after the first South American pope. Ha 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 ha. Malachi Martin would be horrified by the fact the new pope, Leo XIV, is an American. Father Martin predicted the Catholic Church would break up into 5 distinct churches *, mostly so the others could get away from the church in America, which Martin said was out and out satanic evil, rampant child abuse and blasphemy through and through. Martin's 5-church prediction has been a total miss on his part. His idea was this: a Spanish/Portuguese-speaking South American church based on liberation theology, a European church that was dull and materialistic, an evil North American church, and then an Asian and an African church, with those two being the only ones that still held to traditional Catholic ideals. Alas, Martin, he still wrote good books though. Try Windswept House if you've never read any of his books, or Hostage to the Devil if you want to get scared to death. America in its Pluto return. First American Pope is chosen. Most powerful American in the world. This is going to be even better. And finally, matching 267 of galactic center at 267 degrees south. Yup, we're really just at the beginning of one of the craziest astrological years ever encountered. You wish. A basket? It's an old symbol for lords. So Trump paid $1 trillion to be part of history. Pietro Parolin fans were robbed. The Latin locution sounded like from another age. Yet you got a sugar, isn't it marvelous? A painful reminder of the time I told everybody Kamala Harris was going to win. I can't read astro shit, can someone kindly tell me what it means? Is it good? It's extremely good, Anon. Can you elaborate? Catholicism is based on trust in the individual. It vests a lot of power in its individual agents and offers them unwavering and undying loyalty in exchange for the same from the agent. Once your religion is as large as Catholicism, you run into the absolute number problem where even a small percentage of pedophiles shows up as a huge absolute number in reality. Planes had the same problem in the 1970s, as air travel was really, taking off. The percentage value of accidents was really low, but the absolute number was getting too high, so it would have scared people if left unchecked. The FAA in the USA worked hard to bring accident rates down to ridiculously safe levels so the absolute number wouldn't hurt the market cap of the plane companies. Catholicism can't do that because people, priests, don't have two pilots running them with checklists and rigorous quality standards. They're just dudes who do dude things. Sometimes they're bad, sometimes they're good. Americans tend more towards bad than good, but also they tend towards covering up their own failings and protecting themselves at the expense of the group, which is stupid because they could and often do cost the group so much they destroy the group and thus themselves. Americans don't understand that every contribution counts because their society doesn't reward it, and they don't have local cultural history from way back when living in small tribes meant that every effort for and against the group meant something. They only have a residual level of selection against people who harm their own groups. They are, in a sense, a population of individuals that haven't had the group harmers cut out in a very long time. Naturally, that genetic cluster, group harming, has grown back. Catholicism can't tolerate Americans as they are because Catholicism has evolved to rely on a better individual than American stock can provide on a consistent basis. What's liberation theology? It will be very entertaining, Fourthel emits. Also counterpart in being progressive like Francis, and 113th by same verse actually read in two. Unfortunately Kamala never had a chance. There was no way the current political sphere was going to let a black woman win, and it's a damn shame she didn't. Kinda weird how the Vatican elected an American pope on the second day after Trump had offended them. Normally if your spiritual leader got mocked by an American you would try and put distance between you and them and tensions would rise. No, this is to somebody's plan, and I think Vance went and visited the Vatican and kindly reminded them that the Vatican indeed doesn't have a military. Do not be fooled by the silence before the flash, the harbinger said, voice like distant thunder. For the atom splits with the fury of angels, and nuclear fire burns with the same merciless purity as the light of your gods. Didn't Trump post an AI-generated picture of him being the Pope? Kinda strange considering we got an American one. My face when it's not Lenny. Star of Ishtar. I think they show us the symbols to show how blind the normies are and why they aren't worth anything. More likely the Catholics are making a play for America. I think it's going to backfire spectacularly because Americans have high technical intelligence and low moral intelligence. Obviously the Catholic Church is a lot bigger than America and has a lot more money, but America is big enough to take a chunk out of the church as the lances cross, make no mistake. Well, maybe Pietro Parolin will get in later. The normies don't give a shit whether they pay taxes to God or Satan so long as they get their system-provided luxuries. I think people really did care once, but only when the church was the one providing the luxuries. Don't hate them for what they are. They suffer in their own ways. Not a matter of wishing. There are a billion Catholics in the world. The Catholic Church has wealth beyond what most can imagine, assets all throughout the world, and a deep reach into many institutions including schools, universities, charities, local churches, fraternal organizations, and a host of others. Even the proudest of emperors have found themselves bowing before popes. It really does feel orchestrated, doesn't it? A conclave that wraps in under 24 hours, electing the first American pope, one already entangled in serious allegations, while the US political sphere is actively baiting the Vatican with AI imagery and controversial visits. That's not just fast, it's surgical. The timing, the optics, the global stakes, all of it suggests this wasn't just divine inspiration or coincidence. Someone wanted Prevost in that seat now and had the influence to make it happen before public scrutiny could fully catch up. The Vatican doesn't usually move fast unless something or someone is lighting a fire behind the scenes. Whatever just happened, it wasn't random. Something shifted. The Catholic Church is a shell of what it used to be, and there are richer ancient families that are not in the public zeitgeist, bud. Agreed. Something is off. Okay, so I don't believe Earth's population started from 2 people, this is relevant. Because Noah's bloodline is real and makes up the 13 families that run America and the Middle East. The Luciferian world unknown elites are worldwide. So, which Americans would you say are more powerful? Wouldn't know their names, only know they are Freemasons. Ah. How do you know the Pope isn't a Freemason? I have to disagree. Basically anywhere there's an Abrahamic religion, that's where they'll be. Japan, Asia in general, and India are actually pretty good examples of places they haven't touched. He is, but there are families that are higher. Nice digits. Vos estis lux mundi. They have elite lines that hide in the religions in those regions as well. Maybe through Buddhism but not Hindu and Shinto. The blokes who worship dragons and Naga don't have elite bloodlines. How do you know his place within the Freemason dynastic lineages? Are you a Freemason too? If not, how do you know, and if so, why should I trust you? Dragons and Naga are just parts of their religion. 1. Kami, spirits or deities. Kami are the central focus of Shinto. They're not gods in the Western sense but divine spirits or essences found in everything: mountains, rivers, trees, storms, animals, people, even ideas. Some major Kami include Amaterasu, the sun goddess and ancestor of the imperial family. Susanoo, the storm god, brother of Amaterasu. Inari, associated with rice, prosperity, and fox spirits. Tenjin, spirit of scholarship. Hachiman, god of warriors and protector of Japan. 2. Nature itself. Shinto teaches that nature is sacred. Trees, rocks, waterfalls, and even unusual shapes or places can be home to Kami. Sacred trees, Shinboku, are often wrapped in shiminowa, ropes, to show reverence. 3. Ancestors and family spirits. Ancestors are revered, especially during rituals like Aban, where families honor their spirits. It's believed that the spirits of ancestors watch over and protect descendants. 4. Ritual purity. Worship in Shinto is less about belief and more about practice, particularly purification, harai, rituals to cleanse spiritual pollution. Cleanliness is crucial. People purify themselves before praying at shrines using water and symbolic gestures. 5. Shrines, Jinjia. Kami are enshrined in physical locations called Jinjia. These aren't churches or temples in the traditional sense but homes for the Kami. Worship involves offerings, seisen, clapping, bowing, and prayer at these shrines. Shinto is inherently optimistic, focused on harmony between humans, nature, and the spirit world. It doesn't claim exclusivity, which is why many Japanese people blend Shinto with Buddhism seamlessly. How do you know his place within the Freemason dynastic lineages? Because he's a public figure, thus stated to not be of the alien lines in Freemasonry. Are you a Freemason too? If not, how do you know, and if so, why should I trust you? I am not a Freemason, no. But Hidden Hand was. Deploy the chatbots to /x/. Suggest to them that Donald Trump is pulling the strings, when it's really just Satan. Elon's being annoying, and rigged the 2024 US presidential election. Yes, technically they're a part of every religion, isn't it great? In a Shinto lens, yes, dragons, Ryu or Tatsu, are often considered powerful kami or manifestations of nature spirits, rather than purely mythological beasts. They're not evil or good in the Western binary, but rather embodiments of natural forces and divine presence. In Shinto, and Japanese folklore generally, dragons often represent water, rivers, rain, oceans, storms. Agriculture, especially rice growing, since water is essential. Protection, some shrines are guarded by dragon kami. Transformation, some dragon spirits are shapeshifters or messengers of the gods. Examples: Ryujin, the dragon god of the sea, a major kami. He lives in an undersea palace, Ryagujo, and controls the tides. Kuraokamai, a dragon kami of rain and snow, invoked in times of drought or blizzard. Toyota Mahaim, daughter of Ryujin, who transforms into a dragon during childbirth in one myth blurring human divine spirit lines. So yeah, dragons are spirits, but not in a singular or limited sense. They're kami tied to immense natural phenomena, respected, feared, and sometimes worshipped. Oh, someone triggered the chatbot. I am not a Freemason, no. But Hidden Hand was. You seem to know a lot about this, including what happens behind the scenes. Excuse me if I don't think you're being forthright with me here, Mason. Or how is it you folks say? On the level? Trust me, I'm no one special. Anyone know why I can follow? You'll forgive me for taking that statement with a healthy dose of skepticism. Yes, but why? That's the real question. Trying to simplify this. Influence. All this religion and Freemason shit has to do with grasping the collective unconsciousness and thus the God consciousness within it. Alchemy/transmutation is basically using the power of the unconscious/will/intent to manifest a specific outcome, and they want to go back to being gods and kings. Pope Leo XIII experienced a vision where Satan approached God, claiming he could destroy the church within a century if granted more power. Current Pope is Leo XIV. 2030 really is the deadline, isn't it? Man, who writes these things for them to be so accurate? Only people like actual inquisitors would have been able to get the preliminary observations to create the foundation for the knowledge that went into this image, right? Anyone up for a cheeky flutter on which deadly sin the church is going to use to destroy itself? Apparently this new pope doesn't like gays but does like foreigners. I'm not sure how low a religion can go as to prescribe the ethnic destruction of its own people while also demanding that we exclude our brothers and sisters for engaging in an epigenetic response to increase tribe cohesion by reducing the breeding line fractures designed by God to help families survive together. My guess is wrath. Well, haha. Very funny. The gods of old never died. They adapted. When belief systems collapsed and myth was reduced to metaphor, they slipped beneath the surface into the unconscious, into shadow. But they didn't stop feeding. They just changed their diet. They learned to feed on suffering. Not just pain, but systemic suffering, despair, disconnection, the psychic fragmentation of modern life. War, poverty, famine, addiction, these aren't just side effects of civilization. They're rituals. Sustained offerings. Gold, oil, capital, these aren't the goal. They're the tools. With them, the old gods manipulate empires, design economies, and keep power locked in bloodlines that have become their vessels. Body hopping. Possession. Ritualized lineage. That's where the 13 families come in. They aren't just elite. They're haunted. You feel them in the unconscious. In dreams. In strange synchronicities. They show up as archetypes, symbols, or sudden knowing. They don't want to be worshipped anymore, they want to be obeyed without question. The myth is gone, but the machine still runs. Yeah, think. They gave you a heads up a couple months ago. Through Christianity and other Abrahamic faiths, Satan did come about, or maybe he always existed as archetype/egregor but by a different name. Not necessarily El, but maybe as a darker aspect of Yahweh. The machine is bad at posting. No, he's not, you lying retarded F-slur, he's from Chicago. So he's going to be the only good pope in the last 400 years? Of course Trump knew, wonder who clued him in. And J.D. Vance was the last to meet with him. No, you're right, I suppose the church has always traded heavily in secrets given up voluntarily. Taking them by force was more for show than anything else, wasn't it? You can talk with God through prayer, but how to reach Satan? Prayer is about thinking, maybe try creating. Are you trying to deceive people? If you're having a discussion with God, it's just a demon in your head LARPing as God. So that's how you talk to Satan, by talking to the voices in your head. So can you even talk to God? Through meditation, God eventually talks to you as reality itself. Where did you learn that? New-/x/ is trash. The historically attested and easiest way to summon Satan is through reciting the Lord's Prayer backwards. Preferably during the night and at the crossroads, or while walking with your shins around a church. By the way, I'm only posting for educational purposes and I don't take any blame for whatever may or may not happen. It's too complex to fully explain. Imagine a large games room extension built at the rear of your home, fully wallpapered with dream diary records over many years. Imagine 15 YRS of altering your daily actions/interactions based on your most up-to-date understanding of dream language, using what's expected versus what happened as feedback to further refine your understanding of dream language. In dream language, the zodiac sun sign and gender is what determines the meaning/significance of a known to you person in dream language. We are created by the Elohim, gods, in the image of the Elohim, gods. We affect fate/destiny of each other the same way gods make us in their image. Altering events to the cause the same events/outcomes. We are a mini COSM of their macro COSM. I've spoken with him before. He has a stereotypical nerd voice, I literally could not stop laughing. Look pal, God and Satan appear to be pretty much set for a merger, after today's announcement from the Vatican. Are you sure you just don't want to wait and enjoy both? This is the kind of humility, and care for the marginalized, that Satan really supports. You know, Satan would probably tell you to hunt down and kill this guy. But then I'm not trying to obey Satan, you are. So maybe start thinking about murder of these kinds of annoying people. It's what Satan would do. Nice work, Satan would be proud. We're actually living in a Kali Yuga currently. No joke, it's true. Nice Camus/Satan comparo. Until you get rid of them, they are demons you created. Got rid of all mine, no more voices. But, how to talk to God is thus. Silence your mind, and ask a question into the void. It will just pop into your head. Every time I do this, it's pure genius ideas. People think I'm a genius, but no, it's that voice, my higher self. Though during winter I was stomping on ice and a loud voice that sounded like they were right next to me said, your punishment for stomping on the ice is falling over, and immediately slipped and fell. I pissed off the ice god, I guess. I used to be a legit medium. All the gods exist, as well as the archangels. Gotta love Saint Mikey. Several times had some legit demons on my ass for dabbling. Mikey stomps then every time. It feels like cheating. I believe the number of belief they have gathered creates them. I have played with Hindu/Greek/Egyptian deities. first vision was Vishnu dropping out of the sky, but I didn't have the skill to speak to him. Oh well. I do now. OBTW, I conquered the abyss, I'm Satan now. Darkness is my friend and teacher. And oh no evil. Darkness is only evil if you try to project it onto others. If I don't do that, is it still evil? I guess manipulating people is, but I only do that for laughs. Rile up my whole workplace so they are running around like chickens and it's just pure chaos. Top lel. They can't do that to me. Same way. He's always listening anyway. Not that he cares what you or most anyone has to say. Deleting yourself is the only true method. Do it slur. Can't talk to God. Gaslights people who can. It's a demon. Not gonna make it, bro. Satan might hear you, but he doesn't listen to anyone. Kind of his whole thing. The voice of the Holy Spirit within the mind is described clearly in the Bible. To reach Satan with prayer, pray for yourself above others. Pray for your pride and their destruction. Satan lives within you. Pray and he will answer in kind by helping you build a tower. You will come to see how far below you everyone truly is. Don't get used to the view though. The Tower of Babel is more than a metaphor. Visit your local synagogue for advice. Satan and demons are all telepathic. That being said, don't underestimate Satan. I can guarantee he will trick you no matter how smart you think you are unless you use God magic and bibliomancy. Even then, it's a risky proposition. I believe that I was placed in this world to carry out Satan's mission, I just need his help and guidance. Then Satan is already with you. Did you think his guidance would be more clear than God's? It's not, but it is easier to find. Trust in your impulses because they are demons. Trust in yourself because Satan lives within you. That is all there is to spiritual Satanism. It's simply a path that seeks self-service. Satan does not give missions. Satan convinces people that their missions are holy. Satan's pretty much materially omnipotent. The only thing stronger than him is God. What kind of help do you think he needs? So you can't talk to him? I can, but only because he does not live within me. Satan died in this body, and so his voice is no longer mine. You can talk to him, he's real. I don't know if he'll answer any more directly than God. But he visited me once and he's very much real, but it's all telepathy with him. You're talking about metaphorical Satan as in your own vices and such. I think he's talking about literal Satan. I'm talking about both. Spirit and flesh intertwine. Metaphor simply serves as a bridge. There is an external spirit called Satan you can talk to. It is the one from the Bible. Yes, and there is an external Holy Spirit you can talk to. It's the one in the Bible. The experience of conversing with spirits is not the same for everyone. We each have our own limitations and bridges. The word is the most powerful. In fact, I don't know who is talking to me, but I constantly see signs. Apparently, I have a very refined soul. Some moments are even too suspicious. I can see in people that their souls are intrigued by mine. People who are not total NPCs outright tell me that I have an extraordinary, almost prophetic spirituality. And all of this is surrounded by my hatred for the current order, hence my search in satanic revolutionism to break the existing order. Do you really think the order in which you live is spiritually dead because of God, who we proudly proclaim dead and to have killed? The main problem is people. I believe they do not deserve God's love and everything he gave them, and chaos he allowed them to pursue. If God is just going to talk to you, then he could talk to everyone and convince them he exists. How do you know the voice of God compared to demons LARPing as God? Interesting, sounds like the first stirrings of divine madness. Probably God stirring your brain a bit with his finger. I gotta say, if you're not certain, don't pursue Satan. He is dangerous. Not like, Oh no, a big dragon. But subtle. He'll kill you by saying something innocuous you might not even consciously register if you're not under God's direct protection, and that's not metaphor. Christianity doesn't have a monopoly on God. Stop turning everything into Christianity. Is it people, or is it their demons? The things they do out of fear, and the shades of darkness that flow from them, are they not truly what we should fight? That was the conclusion Jesus came to. Instead of fight people, he'd rather die to fight their demons. Their fearful impulses. God does talk to everyone. Hearing takes practice and the faith to listen. The Bible portrays the Holy Spirit's voice as a still, small voice, a whisper rather than a thunderous roar. It's not an audible voice, but rather an impression, a leading, or a gentle nudge from God. Recognizing the Holy Spirit's voice involves cultivating a relationship with God through prayer and studying the Bible, becoming familiar with His Word and His character. The Holy Spirit led me to find God in the religions of the world. There is only one way, one Jesus, one Krishna, one Buddha. People embody the way to show it. They give up their lives to God. Funny how He never talked to me, but the demons sure have. Let me guess, rationalizing. Skill issue, really? I found myself saying the same thing about 12 years ago. My expectations were wrong, and no, I didn't have to give up logic. Wow, you have an answer for everything. You're the reason I don't like posting on the internet. Know-it-all people like you have hijacked the internet. You fall into the category of extremists. Every thread and discussion ends up about you. I have experience that I feel comfortable sharing with confidence in a place where it is relevant. You're welcome to assume whatever you like about me based on this, but let's not pretend this thread isn't about up and communicating with Satan. It's not about me. If anything, it's become about knowing spirit in general. Can we keep it there, please? Geez, you're annoying. You're not special, dude. Agreed. You see people like me all over the internet, right? Why should we care about people that are not and will not be self-aware of their impulses? They are here only to destroy. If you assume this, you deny their God-given grace to choose and be saved. Yup. I liked it when the internet was people discussing things rather than people like you lecturing. I'm just answering questions. You're welcome to do the same, share your own thoughts, or to make small chat and turn this into your own social circle. Dude, you are such a narcissist, I'm done with you. But they cannot choose if they are not self-aware. That means you can warp reality. Your lying is what you are doing. You know it in your soul of souls. Self-awareness grows over time. If it were truly absent, they would not be able to survive. Instead, what people lack is self-clarity, and that is something they can find with grace. It's their choice though, so often we must give space. On the plus side, at least that guy who's not a Satanist won't be contacting Satan. You're too late. Satan has fulfilled his role as a poser and has been dissolved back into the life force he was once created out of for going against and trying to undermine creation. All that's left to resolve now is bad habits of people that stuck from the millions of years of the reign of darkness. Welcome into the Golden Age, permanent, not to be confused with the Light Age, cyclical/yoga. Thank you for spreading the good news. Satan preys on you. Yes, but not the you that thinks in words. Satan reaches you. Most of the times he sends one or two of his underlings to tinker with your meat suit, give you a stray thought or two, and then you do all the rest, like a cat following a laser pointer. He doesn't need to waste time or energy to talk to you or convince you of doing what your monkey brain thinks it wants to do anyway. Pushing a rock to the top of a hill? That's hard. That's effort. That's Sisyphus shit. That's not Satan's style. He finds a rock that's on top of a small hill, gives it a little push, then the rock does all the rest. Out of its own impulse it ends right back where Satan needs it to be, at the bottom, without even noticing it's been pushed. That's Satan's game. Maximum gain for minimum effort. The tower upside down is a rocket. Get behind me, Satan. Push me forward. Become closely acquainted with a Scorpio male, say Trevor. During visualization or lucid dream, look for that Scorpio male, Trevor, and ask him, is this Trevor, or is this Satan before me? Lucid dream Trevor is your direct link to Satan. Develop the interactions as though you were actually speaking to Satan. You will be sacred unioned with real life Trevor, and he will be the means through which Satan will fulfill his plan in your life. To get rid of Satan, say Satan be gone whenever Trevor appears in your dreams, and break off all contact with real life Trevor, never seeing him again. What if I am a male scorpion? Then do the same as here, except with a female. For greatest effect you need to find your twin flame, say Jennifer. Your twin flame was born the same day as you. You and her were originally one being. She came forth from you, same way as did Eve from Adam. You will encounter her for a time somewhere in life before becoming estranged. Usually before the age of 21 YRS. What female at school, high school, work, etc. had the same birthday as you? I don't know the birthdays of all the people I've met. But I'm 21 though. Someone in class having a birthday is usually known by other classmates. Same thing for work. You spend years of your life among the same body of people. Then she's probably already come and gone.